A lot of times people tell us like this, are you mad? When do they do that? When do they say, are you mad? See, they say it when you do something which is different. They say it when you do something which they don't understand. They do it when you go off the beaten track and, make your own choices in life. Because the world seems to be trying to condition us to be like everybody else, isn't it? So the moment you try to choose your own path, why? See, we tried to choose our own path and we gave up at some point, right? Because they say, no. Are you mad? Nobody's doing it. How can you do it? But have you ever wondered why is it that you get this urge to do something? I mean, many of us have killed that desire, but we did have it. Why did we have it? Because we are unique human beings born with a unique purpose. And I think as children, we are trying to be that unique person that we are. And with all this conditioning that is imposed upon us, we lose that, the what we call as the individuality, or we lose the freedom. And the worst freedom that we lose is the freedom of choice. Because we've learned something called decision. And you will notice that all your reference point for decisions are what? Will people agree with it? Is this a right choice? What will the world say? Okay. So now comes a question which you can all answer. You can, raise your hand, unmute and answer. That obviously we have Kasa who has, definitely not taken the path that everybody else does. He's dared to be different, right? So tell us, Kasa, what made you dare to be different? You were so lucky that you had a father who supported you in every choice that you made.
Yes, sir. One of the bigger impact is family, and uh, it's a choice, or the intuition which I followed from my younger age. Certain choices. My dad when I grew up, my dad sometimes have told me like, when you did something, I got irritated, but I was okay, let it be. So uh, that's how that's one
Okay,
of
so I have
the
some specific questions for you. Number one, like I said, your father was very supportive and family was very supportive. But what about the reaction of your teachers in school, for example, and your friends and other people that you came across?
yes, they used to ridicule, they used to make fun about it. And I think, okay, it's an interesting point of view, and
Hmm.
you know, uh, so when we see everything as an interesting point of view, even our point of view.
Listen, stick to what I'm asking you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That
sir.
time you had not done, in your early,
Access.
you had not done access, so you did not know this distinction. Now you're saying
Yeah,
it. Huh?
yeah.
But one thing is for sure, that you did not give up. You did not allow people to discourage you from making your choices.
Exactly, exactly.
Now, for most people, that does not happen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's listen to other people, and I'll come back to you with another question after some time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But in the meantime, I have a question for other people. And the question is, I'm sure that you tried to listen to your heart and do things in your life. Okay. Do you even remember what it was that you wanted to do? If you remember, please share it with us. Now, what I'm asking you is that in your life, when you wanted to make a choice which is very different from what everybody expects you to do, did you have such ideas or thoughts about what you wish to do? not necessarily as a career option, but even otherwise. Now, there are two things possible: that you were so conditioned from so early in life that your thinking was only channelized for, grow up, get a job, become an engineer, become a doctor, or some people said, I want to become army officer, so they became an army officer. Now, I'm sure that in many families, when you make a choice about being an army officer, that's not taken very well. In certain families, it's acceptable because there is a tradition, there are other people in the army, you know. But I know a lot of people, when they chose to get into the army, they were told, are you mad? You want to die? You're my only son. I'm not going to let you go there and die in the army. So don't go. So the real question which I'm asking you is, did you at any point of time try and make a choice or do something which was quite different from what everybody else was doing? Or were you a person who was always doing whatever is acceptable to everybody else? So you can answer me yes or no, so that I know you're engaging in this conversation. Yes, Abhinav.
So Deepak, sadly, I never did anything, which is off the, something which I wanted to do, and the world was not agreeable to that. So Deepak, it is only now at a very later stage that, I start understanding. It's only now that I see that what I think is also important, what I want is also important. Right from the childhood, what was told me is that, do like everything that you do should comply with the society norms, and you don't matter at all. you know
So then, can I
Family,
ask you? I want
whatever.
to ask you
Yeah,
another
yeah,
question, Abhinav. That there was a point of
yeah,
time when you
yeah,
got a job, I think in Germany or something,
yeah,
that is not going outside the society norms,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
yet
yeah,
they
yeah.
did not let you go.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that even now, what I want, I'm not doing. See, not only that, so Deepak, I always wanted to see the world. Always wanted to work abroad, have a, big experience, and I got such opportunities early 90s. Most of my friends went to Middle East in those days, and then when I had a second-hand scooter, they were telling me which car they were driving there. So even then, my mom was not well. She was a heart patient, and then it never occurred to me that, or even today, it will never occur to me that I can leave my dad and do something special. Go out of the way. It's always the family come first. That is what has been conditioned onto me. That you are supposed to sacrifice yourself for your family.
Yeah. So that is another thing that was put in your brain, either this or that. The
Yes,
possibility
exactly,
that you can
exactly.
do both never
Both.
came to you, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
दोनों कर सकते हैं ना.
दोनों कर सकते हैं, हाँ.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for sharing it, Abhinav. Yes, Colonel Raj.
Okay. Namaste to everyone. Actually, it took some time for me to understand the question because I thought it was more related to path breaking, something which not been done by anybody, and I was a unique character to do. So nothing of the thing has ever I have done. But yes, there are occasions where I did something despite people telling me don't do it. There were people who were telling, no, it's not done at this age. Like even when I went to National Security Guard, I was around 33, around that 32, 33. They said at this age, energy is not a place. It should be for young. You have to run so much of physical activity and all the thing. And one of the best time I had there was in my life was that. Similarly, there have been many such instances where people said, "Oh, it is not for you." It could be because of my lifestyle, or it could be because of my age, or maybe because it is changing the domain, from one domain where I. So everywhere people thought I should be in a comfort zone, which I somehow got interested in that and then try to break my comfort zone and go there. And
That's
I always, once I went there, in a matter of time, I felt I'm in the best comfort zone there. I said, I never thought it was going to be so comfortable there.
Interesting. So you were an NSG commando, huh?
Yes,
And
yes.
at the age of 33, you could go through that rigorous training.
3 months.
Amazing, amazing. I take my hat off to you.
And I was among the officers. I mean, I wouldn't say among the entire lot of people, because there you train along with men also. There is no separate for officers. There is no men separate. It's all combined. So all those 50, 60 people go together, and out of that, around 10 guys are retired. So among the officers, I was the best.
Congratulations, because you dared to be different. Okay.
I enjoyed.
So very beautifully understood. See, you don't have to necessarily become Mahatma Gandhi or somebody like that to take a divergent path, right? Like I remember when I was a kid, I mean, no, your grandfather's a doctor, you have to also become a doctor. Okay? You can't even think about anything else. If you want to get into the army, you cannot go to short service. You must go for proper service. Otherwise, don't go. Stuff like that. So that conditioning doesn't allow our own self to express itself. Okay, so let's listen to what Tanmay had to say.
Morning, everyone. So I started my educational journey as a student of science, but I was very much interested in literature and poetry. So I started writing poetry, short stories, and creative articles, several of which got published in newspapers.
Wow.
So I chose to join the creative writing, field, and joined the local newspaper, where I contributed to the weekend supplements, and worked as a writer for 3.5 years there. And everyone kept telling me that poetries and stories or books nobody reads these days. So if you want to make a solid career, get into technical writing, content writing, and which is how I moved into the online writing business, and then kept growing in there. But I was at that stage where you had to decide, whether you go with where your heart is saying or where your brain is asking you to go. And at that point of time, I chose to get into the technical writing and make a career.
You did not choose to get into technical writing. You made a decision to do so.
I made a decision.
Not a choice. It was a decision. You notice?
Yes, yes.
Okay, very nice. Thank you very much for sharing it.
Thank you, sir.
Yesterday, I had the privilege of interviewing retired General Ratandeep Singh. Okay. He spent 40 years in the army and then he retired. And he chose a very divergent. I mean, he did something which I don't think too many army officers would do. He became a Reiki master, he became a pranic healer, he became a NLP. I mean, almost all the things which I have done, he also has done. And then he went to Australia. Somebody told him about access consciousness and he did access consciousness. And he and his wife, they both did it and they were so happy with it that they brought it back to India. And today, if we have access consciousness, it's because General Saab did the Access Bars program in Australia in 2010. Okay. So he chose a divergent path. There's another very very interesting person. Many of you may be attending his morning 3-minute scientific yoga. And that is that Colonel Seva Singh. He was a commando in the army and then he damaged his body quite a bit. So when he retired, his body was in very bad shape. And then he went and learned yoga and he came out with this 3 minutes, an amazing, the only program where I have seen that whatever may happen, you are consistently doing it. So for more than 3 years, I've been doing 3 minutes. People tell me, oh, what difference 3 minutes will make here. But believe me, it has made a big difference. So what are the choices we did not make? You will have some regret somewhere. I met this lady. I was conducting a landmark seminar once in Bombay. And there was this lady who was a professor. All right. And she said, look, I'm very sad because, it was a self-expression course that I was conducting. And she said, I'm very upset, because I was a very good classically trained, qualified sitar, sitarist. Okay. And after I got married, then I had to take a job as an English professor. So I've been teaching English, and I think I'll be teaching English till the day I died. And if the only regret in my life is that I'm not, with my music, it's too late. I said, why is it too late? She said, no, until I retire, I can't do it. I said, who said you have to retire? Is there a possibility you can do both? And you know what she did? She started, her sitar again, practicing, teaching young children, giving performances, and she was still teaching in the college. How wonderful is that? So, two things, I believe, people trying to force us to look at the world the way they want us to. They want us to see the world like they do, And when you don't look at the world the way they do, they'll call you mad. Are you crazy? What are you doing? So they discourage you. And the other thing also, I think, which has been imposed on you is either you do this or you do that. You choose your family or you choose that career. Because nobody said, okay, listen, all right, my dear son, you want to do this, let's find out how to make it possible. दोनों कैसे किया जाए? You look after us also and you look after this also. Sometimes it is impossible, but not always, right? So now that we have talked about this topic, okay, what are the things that you can now choose and make possible? Whatever has happened is in the past. That's water under the bridge. It's gone, and it's gone forever. Now what? Today is a new day. Today, new life can start. What are the new choices you can make today? It's even difficult to think about it, no? Because our brain has been so solidly conditioned and brainwashed that we can't even think, okay, what choices should I make now? I don't know. Maybe you can. But can you see the impact of that? That is why I'm so profoundly a fan of all these access consciousness programs. Right? It's opened me up to possibilities way beyond what I could imagine. But think, what do you think is possible for you in your life? But you're not making a choice to make it possible for you. Because you are limited by what will people say. It is very difficult. It is very tough. Either I do this or I do that. If I do that, then I'll not get money. Always this M factor, money, comes into play. So just close your eyes for a moment. Take a couple of deep breaths. And relax your body and ask yourself this question. Or don't ask, just wait for an awareness to come. What are the choices you can make now?